Marcus Henderson was reading quarterly reports when the numbers started dancing across the page. 3 months later, doctors told him he'd never see again. Today, executives pay him $2,000 an hour to solve problems they can't even identify. What happened between complete devastation and extraordinary success? The answer will challenge everything you think you know about limitations. Marcus wasn't just any consultant. He'd spent 15 years building a reputation as the guy who could walk into any boardroom and fix what was broken. His secret weapon? Reading people. Their body language, their micro-expressions, the way they shuffled papers when lying. The headache started during a client presentation in Chicago. By December, he was bumping into walls. By March, his world went black. Retinal dystrophy, aggressive, irreversible. His business collapsed overnight. Clients who'd sworn loyalty for years vanished like morning mist. Insurance covered the medical bills, not the shattered career. The humiliation reached its peak when Marcus showed up to his regular networking breakfast, guided by Sarah's arm. Former peers who'd once sought his advice now spoke to him in patronizing tones, as if blindness had somehow damaged his intellect. He left halfway through, never to return. Picture this. You wake up every morning in a world you can't navigate. The coffee maker becomes Mount Everest. Your smartphone turns into hieroglyphics. Marcus spent 8 months barely leaving his apartment. His savings drained while he learned to tie shoes again. Friends meant well, but their visits felt like pity parties he never asked to host. His wife Sarah watched him disappear piece by piece. It wasn't just his vision, she'd later tell reporters. It was like someone had erased Marcus and left behind this stranger who spoke in whispers. The breaking point came when his biggest former client sent a sympathy card with a $500 check, charity, from people who once paid him more than that per hour. But the real devastation was internal. Marcus had built his identity around being the sharpest person in the room. Without that edge, who was he? Just another statistic on a disability claim form. Sarah forced him to answer the phone one Tuesday. Wrong number, or so they thought. Jennifer from TechVantage needed help. Her company was hemorrhaging talent, and she'd found Marcus's old contact in her boss's phone. She didn't know about his condition, just that he'd saved companies before. Marcus almost hung up. Then something kicked in. Maybe muscle memory, maybe desperation. He listened to her describe the exodus of employees. No meetings, no charts, no visual analysis, just pure focus on her words, her tone, the pauses between sentences. Your managers aren't the problem, he told her after 20 minutes. They're treating symptoms while the disease spreads. Your senior leadership is making promises they can't keep, and everyone below them is paying the price. Jennifer went silent. We've had consultants here for months who couldn't see that. 3 days later, TechVantage implemented Marcus's suggestions. Within 2 weeks, resignation letters stopped coming. Within a month, they were hiring again. That success planted a seed. What if losing his sight had actually sharpened something else? Jennifer's boss called personally. Then his boss called. Word traveled through networks Marcus had forgotten he'd built. Something remarkable was happening. Without visual distractions, Marcus heard things others missed. The uncertainty in a CEO's voice, the genuine excitement versus performed enthusiasm, the difference between confidence and arrogance. He started charging what he'd charged before, $300 per session, then $500, then $800. Demand kept growing. His breakthrough case came with Medicor, a pharmaceutical company facing an FDA investigation. Their previous consultants had focused on compliance documentation. Marcus heard something different during his first call with their CEO. You're not afraid of the FDA, Marcus said. You're afraid your own team has been lying to you. Within a week, internal whistleblowing revealed the exact issues the FDA was investigating. Medicor settled early, avoided criminal charges, and saved $50 million in penalties. They paid Marcus $25,000 for 4 phone calls. Fortune 500 companies began flying him across the country for audio-only consultations. He worked from hotel rooms with nothing but his phone and a keen understanding of human nature refined by necessity. A Harvard Business Review editor heard about the consultant who doesn't need to see and wrote a feature story. The response overwhelmed Marcus. He developed something unprecedented, invisible leadership workshops where executives worked blindfolded for entire sessions. They learned to make decisions without PowerPoints, lead meetings without reading faces, and solve problems through pure communication. The first workshop almost failed. Half the participants removed their blindfolds within an hour, claiming it was impossible to function this way. But the half who stayed discovered something transformative. They heard their colleagues' actual concerns for the first time. Corporate America became fascinated. Here was someone teaching the exact opposite of everything they'd learned about leadership, and it worked better than traditional methods. Marcus taught me that I'd been looking at everything except what mattered, said the CEO of a major retail chain. I was so busy watching presentations that I'd stopped listening to my people. His methodology became proprietary. His waiting list stretched 6 months. His hourly rate hit 4 figures. The turning point came when IBM flew him to their leadership summit. Instead of speaking to 500 executives, Marcus conducted what he called a group diagnosis, listening to their collective discussion and identifying patterns nobody else could see. Your innovation problem isn't about ideas, he told them afterward. It's about ego. Your senior people are so afraid of looking stupid that they're killing creativity before it can breathe. The room fell silent. Then came 20 minutes of the most honest discussion IBM had experienced in years. Success brought its own complications. Marcus was traveling constantly, building a consulting empire from hotel rooms and airport lounges. He was helping hundreds of executives see clearly, while his own family relationships remained clouded. His daughter Emma, now in graduate school, called after attending one of his lectures at NYU. "Dad, I finally understand. You didn't lose your sight. You gained something the rest of us don't have. You see truth." That conversation changed everything. Emma joined his firm, bringing fresh perspectives to complement his unique insights. Together, they've built something neither could have achieved alone. But their biggest breakthrough came during a family crisis. Sarah's mother was dying, and the family was torn apart by disagreements about her care. Traditional family meetings had devolved into shouting matches. Marcus applied his consulting methods to his own family. He organized audio-only family calls where nobody could see each other's reactions, only hear their actual concerns. Within 3 sessions, they'd found solutions that honored both Sarah's mother's wishes and the family's needs. "My blindness taught me that vision has nothing to do with eyes," Marcus now tells audiences. It's about perception, understanding, and the courage to see what others won't acknowledge. Marcus Henderson's story isn't about overcoming disability. It's about discovering that what we think are our greatest weaknesses often contain our most powerful strengths. Every day, you're surrounded by noise, distractions, and surface-level information that might be blinding you to deeper truths. What if you stopped looking so hard and started listening more carefully? Your next breakthrough might be hiding behind your biggest fear. Your greatest limitation could be your competitive advantage in disguise. The question isn't whether you can see clearly, it's whether you're brave enough to close your eyes and discover what you've been missing. Hit that subscribe button if this story made you think differently about what's possible. And remember, sometimes we have to lose our sight to find our vision.